Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Captain.
I'm Lynn.
And today we're going to be doing another episode of our Gamealike Recommendations. This is our second episode. I hope the series keeps going. This one is going to be the BGG Top 100. We picked a handful of games off the BGG Top 100 to do Gamealike Recommendations for games, a handful of games that we ourselves had played, so we knew other games we do recommendations on. Lynn, how do the Gamealike Recommendations work if this is the first episode of this series people have seen?
Basically, we are recommending lesser known games that play similarly or have a similar feeling to more well known games.
Excellent. So, and again, the more well-known games we've chosen are all games from the BGG Top 100 list. And also, all the games we're recommending are either currently available or are shortly to be back in print. We've seen that either they were for sale, at least from some independent sellers, or are coming back in print because of a new print run or Kickstarter coming. All right, so what is the first game we have off the BGG Top 100 that we're going to give some Gamealike recommendations to?
It is Twilight Imperium 4th Edition.
Ah, yes, the big 4X game, and I do mean the big 4X game, because this is what everyone thinks of when they think of 4X games for the most part. So, do you want to go first or second for this video?
I'll go first.
Okay, so what is your recommendation for people who are fans of Twilight Imperium?
Mine is Victory and Glory Napoleon.
Okay,
because while it may not be in space, you still get the feel. You have the map, and you have the little cubes, and you do battle.
You do have battles.
And you get like the feel of just the,
The feel of conquering and taking control.
Yes.
Is that what you're going for? The area control feel, because it's a much lighter game than Twilight Imperium.
Yeah.
But it gives you the same kind of thrill, the same kind of feeling of going out.
Yeah, because it's like you get more troops and then you deploy the troops. It's like, it's similar.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, so that is Victory and Glory Napoleon. You have the battles, you have the area control, you have the giant map. I see where you're coming from. Mine is a little closer to being on the nose because it is another 4X game, and that is Northgard Uncharted Lands. So Northgard Uncharted Lands is still also a bit lighter, but this is a lighter full-on 4X game. You do have the exploration, you have the exploitation, you have the expansion, and you have the extermination. And you go out there and you are conquering lands as Viking tribes and fighting off enemy Viking tribes and taking control of resources and using those resources to build buildings. And if you're playing even with the advanced rules, you may even have independent monsters and animals wandering around that you also have to do battle with. And it's a lot of fun. And this is a game that I think is good for fans of Twilight Imperium who maybe have friends in their game group who they can't get to sit down for a game of Twilight Imperium because this one plays in like 2 hours. So it's a much faster, lighter 4X game for those who want such an experience. Thoughts on Northgard?
I like it. I think it's a good it's a good substitute when you don't have like 6 to 8 hours.
and that's exactly what it's for. That's exactly what it's for. So what is our next game off the BGG Top 100 that we are going to be giving recommendations for?
It's Terraforming Mars.
So this is a great game. This is a game that is still in our collection. It is an engine building game. It is a civilization building game where you are colonizing Mars. You build up an engine to be able to build and grow forests and seas and build colonies, etc. on the surface of Mars. So what do you got as a recommendation for Terraforming Mars?
I have a theme is what I have. It's 1750 Britain versus France. So
okay.
It's a card game where
Card/board.
Yeah, there is a board. There's a board where you're colonizing various places like the Caribbean. I think there's the Africa, India,
and North America.
And North America. So you play, one player is Britain, one player is France, and you are sailing around. to these different areas, getting different supplies from them.
You have to build like
And-
trade contracts.
And then there's also, you can get help from like the King of Sweden and, various
You
other...
always go for the King of Sweden.
Well, he's the only way to get lumber.
He is the only way to get lumber in that game. That's true.
And there's various there's like a Native American chief that
I think it's Chief Joseph.
You can get on your side, and
yeah, there's a lot of independent powers. There's building up of different colonies to be able to control trade of different goods. Sets of three different goods is what get you money, and you buy troops to be able to fight over the different colonies. This is a much more military and militant type game.
There's like ship battle and stuff. With Terraforming Mars, there's not any battle.
There's not any real battle. Yeah.
You have the colonization aspect.
So if you like Terraforming Mars, but would like a little more combat, 1750 Britain versus France. Okay, that about covers that. All right, so my recommendation is for Terraforming Mars is the game Mosaic. Now, Mosaic is a game that came out fairly recently from Forbidden Games. It was the most recent published design by Glenn Drover. This is a full-on civilization game, again with engine building. This one is very on the nose for me. It feels very similar to Terraforming Mars, but believe it or not, I like this better than Terraforming Mars. Considering Terraforming Mars was already one of my favorite games of all time, that's saying a lot. You build up your engine to be able to go out and build cities and towns and gather resources and build up your population and tax your population and start wars and build ancient wonders of the world as you are building up ancient world civilizations in the Mediterranean. But it's all done in an amazingly smooth and cohesive way. All the mechanics work incredibly well together. The engine building is super satisfying. The area control is super satisfying. And the working your way towards the various achievements is super satisfying. Mosaic, A Story of Civilization, that's the subtitle, is a fantastic game. And I absolutely recommend it to fans of Terraforming Mars. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I could see how it's similar.
Well, you got the engine building and you
Yeah.
got the civilization building.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's very similar. I think it's pretty on the nose. You don't think it's as on the nose as I do?
I guess it is. I don't know.
Okay. What's our next game we're giving recommendations for, Lynn?
The next one is Root.
Root. A big asymmetrical war strategy game in a anthropomorphic animal fantasy universe where three of the four possible factions in the base box are all doing area control, but in different sorts of ways. One of them also does engine building. One does straight area control. One is working up a rebellion. And then there's a fourth one that is like a vagabond that wanders around playing all the sides against each other and playing Yojimbo with the other players, basically. This is a really cool game. I played a little outside the box with my recommendation on this. How about you? What did you go for?
Yeah, well, I think because Root is so unique, it's difficult to do like a 1-for-1. You just gotta pick like a feel, and then go with it.
So what game are you recommending then?
I'm recommending Crusader Kings.
Okay, and Crusader Kings is another great game. We reviewed that also and loved it. What is it about Crusader Kings that makes you recommend this to fans of Root?
Well, because you have the I guess the area control and combat in the the middle of the Crusader Kings board. You have the map of Europe.
Yes.
And there's just like the power battles happening. There's politics in it, which there's not really any politics in Root.
No.
But like there's the
feel.
Yeah, the feeling of like trying to take over this area, and you can do some military, but you can also do like
political marriages.
Political marriages and stuff like that to also help take you over the area.
My favorite part of Crusader Kings has nothing to do with the battle at all. My favorite part of Crusader Kings is using the political marriages and setting up dynasties and doing the bag building from that. I find that amazingly fun and really enjoy that. That said, great game. Absolutely great game. Love Crusader Kings. I do think that is a valid recommendation for fans of Root. Now, I went a little different with my recommendation for Root. I went a little bit more about the asymmetry. So the thing about Root is that every player is basically playing a completely different game. And but for that reason, I went for a much overlooked two-player game called Seven Ronin, which is obviously meant to be based on the classic movie Seven Samurai. But in it, one player is the seven Ronin who are defending the village, while the other player plays a band of ninja who are attacking the village, which of course takes the place of the bandits attacking the village in Seven Samurai. Now, the two sides play completely differently, and they play in this programming aspect where you cover up your board, and they each decide where to assign their troops for the round, and then you both reveal and see what happens. And there's benefits to some of the samurai wanting to be in a place with the ninjas to be able to take them out, while some of them want to be on their own because they have special abilities that only take place if they're unopposed in a region. And the ninja want to get unopposed in certain regions to be able to get the special abilities of those areas of the village. All of this works to make a really cool asymmetrical game where the two sides are totally different, but very tactical, very strategic, and very brain burning. So I kind of felt like this was another good game and you can still find it even though it's a few years old. This is another good game to recommend to fans of Root who really like that asymmetrical play style. What are your thoughts on Seven Ronin?
I don't really like it.
I thought you said last time we played that you liked
I like
half of it.
Yeah, I like one side.
You said you like being the Ronin.
Yeah.
You weren't a fan of the ninja, which surprised me because that totally seemed like something that would be a Lin thing, is to be the ninja. But you actually only liked. I think it was specifically because you liked how tough the Ronin were because they were very strong. Okay, what is our next game we are making a recommendation for?
It is Everdale.
Okay, so Everdale is a big combination worker placement and tableau building game where you're building out a little village using the worker placement to draft cards to build out a village of these anthropomorphic animals and their houses. Is that covered in a nutshell? It's a very well-known game. It is very popular, and it is a really good game. So, Lynn, what is your recommendation for Everdale?
It is XLibris.
Okay.
So in XLibris, it has worker placement and tableau building. You are a librarian gnome, and you place your workers to get cards with books on them, and then you have to place it in the tableau in front of you and in the best alphabetical order that you can manage, because at the end of the game, whoever has it in alphabetical order the best wins.
Building a library with asymmetrical worker placement powers. They each one has gnomes, and also I don't think you mentioned the asymmetrical guys.
You get two gnomes. I believe you get two gnomes, and then like one special worker that has powers. So there's like there's a ghost, there's a little gelatinous cube, there's a wizard, and they all
do different things.
Do different things.
This is a really cool game, and it's very on the nose for the fact that you're both doing worker placement and tableau building. Mine's on the nose, but for a slightly different reason. I chose to do Dark Domains, which, by the way, has a second edition Kickstarter coming soon. So it doesn't look like it's available right now, but it's coming back soon. Dark Domains is a worker placement game that also has village building. You're also building a kingdom. So it's very on the nose for both of those reasons. But the worker placement, this is very satisfying. And then also the being able to build up of your own kingdom and build different buildings that are going to give you different resources to use is also very satisfying. This game is it feels like an evil version of Pillars of the Earth, if you've ever played Pillars of the Earth. But in this case, because you have the building of the village and you have the worker placement, it felt like a too perfect recommendation to not use for Everdale. What do you think?
Yeah, I could see it.
And it's a good game, and you agree with that, right? It's another really good worker placement game. So I think we have one left on this list, right?
Yes.
And it looks like it's another worker placement game. Am I right?
Yes.
So, what is our final game on the BGG Top 100 list?
It is Lords of Waterdeep.
So Lords of Waterdeep is a classic worker placement game with different color workers, and different combinations of color workers are needed to do the different tasks, because what you're doing is you're trying to send adventurers from Dungeons and Dragons on particular missions, and each mission requires different classes of adventurers. So like red are fighters, or I forget what color were rogues, but they're all different colors.
There's like wizards are purple, I think, or
Yeah.
white. I don't know.
I don't remember the colors offhand. It's been a little while since we played it, but this is a classic game that it is on the top 100 list, and we do still have our copy in our collection. So what is your recommendation for a game-alike recommendation for Lords of Waterdeep?
Mine is Oath of the Brotherhood. And this is a worker placement game with pirates. So you have like a pirate base, like a pirate island with different areas to place your workers. What makes it interesting is that there are areas that you don't flip over until certain parts in the game. There's like cards where you flip it over, and then there will be a new area to place your workers. And you also have a little like personal board in front of you where you can collect like gunpowder and rum and stuff to use.
To use special abilities. Yeah. Yes. Very cool. It is a good one. It is a really good one, and it is a solid worker placement game. My pick is a newer game that is really, really well done and really, really interesting and felt very on the nose to me because of different color workers. This is Starship Captains. So Starship Captains is a game that's obviously meant to very much capture the feel of episodes of Star Trek. You have these different color crew members, and you can take them and tap them to the different worker placement spots on the ship to be able to do things like move or attack an adjacent pirate ship or things like that, and then slide them on back into the waiting queue to wait to enter your ready room where you can again use them. But when you get to a particular planet, there'll be an away mission that needs specific colors of workers to complete. And if you assign the colors of workers to it to complete it, you'll get all sorts of rewards. This game is really cool, and it felt very on the nose to me for Lords of Waterdeep, specifically because of the different classes / different colors of workers. It really felt like it captured that well. But also, we did a full review and tutorial on this one not too long ago, and this is a really fun game. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot going on. The boards are incredibly cool. I love the whole sliding the guys through the waiting queue. It's very satisfying. It's a very mechanically satisfying game with wonderful artwork and a great theme, and that's why it is my recommendation for fans of Lords of Waterdeep. Thoughts on Starship Captains?
I could see where you got it from.
Okay. Do you agree or no?
Yeah, I guess. It's not like
very begrudging.
It's not super like worker placement.
It is a worker placement game. It's just done in a newer style.
Yeah.
It's they're trying to do something different with the worker placement genre. But it definitely still, in my opinion, still qualifies as a variety of worker placement.
Because they only ever just swoop around your board. They never actually go to different spots.
Well, when you get the card, you plug it in, and you have to put the guys next to it to complete the worker spots on the.
Like for 2 seconds, and then they go.
Well,
back
like I said, they're doing something a little differently with worker placement. That's my feeling on it.
Okay.
Well, there you have it.
It's got workers, no placement.
Oh wow! Okay, it's fine. So there you have it. Those are our choices for the recommendations for game-alike recommendations for these games from the BGG Top 100 list. Let us know what would be your recommendations for each of these games that we chose to do game-alike recommendations for. Also, let us know what do you think of our choices. And if you enjoyed this episode of Game-alike Recommendations, you'd like to see us do more like it, be sure to give it a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.